I'm here at PAX Prime 2015 with Jordan Weisman, the creator of MechWarrior, creator of BattleTech, Shadowrun, some beloved PC gaming franchises. Jordan, how you doing?
We're doing great, man. We're having a wonderful time here talking to all the fans.
So tell me about Harebrained Schemes. You guys have had some success in Kickstarter over the past couple years. What are you guys working on right now?
Well, yeah, I mean, our relationship with the fans and their ability to help us build great games has been really the growth engine of the company. When we started with Shadowrun Returns, we were only 8 people. We're now at 65, and we've been able to develop multiple games. So we just, for instance, shipped Shadowrun Hong Kong, which is our newest Shadowrun campaign, which, again, backers helped us make an even bigger and better game. That game, so far, the reception has been fantastic. It's really the best-looking Shadowrun game to date. Has a whole new Matrix system, which was much more differentiated gameplay and really cool graphics. Another wonderful story by Andrew McIntosh and Mitch Gittleman and Mike McCain, who just did a fantastic job on telling another rich, deep, severely twisted Shadowrun story. I mean, we're just really proud of that. We're also showing here Necropolis, which is a departure for us. I mean, so far our games have been kind of turn-based in strategy, and you'll hear more about another one of those in a minute. But Necropolis is a real-time 3D roguelike designed by Dennis and Chris. And Chris, it's a really wonderfully warped game. I love it the way that they've brought in a very kind of like Dark Souls with really dark, deep humor, and a fantastic different visual appeal. And a really and when you get down to it, very different gameplay. It's much more accessible than like a Dark Souls. So yeah, I'd love you to check it out and talk to Dennis about it, because they're working on something really special there. Yeah,
it looks good. It's interesting to see you guys move outside of strategy. But I want to get you also talking about the state of independent game development. Right now on Steam, there's about 7 or 8 games on average releasing every single day. You think we're reaching a point of saturation? Are you worried about sort of the state of the industry at large?
Yeah, I mean, I think we are, it's best of times and worst of times, right? I mean, the access for indie developers to bring their games out to market is unparalleled. That's fantastic, right? The ability to get help in bringing those games to market through venues like crowdfunding is fantastic. And the tools that you need to create games have dropped in price so dramatically over the last decade and become so much more accessible. That's fantastic. Now, the downside to all of that is there's a lot more product in the marketplace. And so your ability to kind of make noise is hard. You have to really work as an independent as much on your community development as you do on your software development, and it's something you got to take really seriously to be able to break out from a huge amount of content that's coming out.
So talk to me about BattleTech. You guys are going to be launching a Kickstarter later this year. Really looking forward to seeing you guys' take on BattleTech and MechWarrior as a tactical game again in the PC space. What's it going to look like?
Well, I'm really psyched. I made mech games for a long time, right? Starting with the original BattleTech board game and the cockpits. We did the BattleTech centers and Virtual centers, and then the MechWarrior series and Mech Commander series. But it's been, I'm embarrassed to say, 19 years since I made a mech game, and in some respect, I think that's my greatest asset, because I'm like really excited to make another one now. I really want to dive back and go back to the real roots of the game, back to the classic kind of BattleTech setting and the classic take on it, which is that it is a tactical game, and that you're commanding not a single mech, but a lance of mechs, right? That you've got a squad to work with, and to me, that's kind of the core of what the game was always about. The ability to take that universe and now do that in a modern tactical game where we can get into even more depth than we did in the old days as a pen and paper, but make it fluid and fast playing. So you're focusing on the strategy, not on the mechanics, but the mechanics are really deep there. Great differentiation of the mechs and of the mech warriors. Deep skill trees for them. If you look at Shadowrun's an RPG with a really strong tactical game underneath it. This is flipped. It's going to be a great tactical game with a lot of really great storytelling underneath it. As you can tell from our other games, we love story, and there'll be great story here. One of the things that I've been sad about is that some of our mech games over the years haven't been really well situated in the universe. They haven't brought the story of the universe out to the forefront, and that's something we're really determined to do with this title. So it's going to be, we're going to be going, as you mentioned, bringing this to Kickstarter at the end of September to help have the fans help us make it a bigger and better game like they did with Hong Kong. And then we're looking at a release in the first quarter of 17.
Great, really looking forward to it. I'm a huge fan of Mech Commander, one of my favorite games. Obviously, that's more of a real-time experience, of course. This will be turn-based. While I've got you, I want to get you talking a little bit about Microsoft. You work with them obviously through FOSSA Interactive back in the day. Microsoft is sort of in the process of, coming back to the PC gaming, so to speak. I'm wondering if you sort of have a perspective on their move to get back in the industry and whether it's going to work out for them.
Well, I've had the benefit of both being inside Microsoft as creative director for the whole org back, when we launched the first Xbox, and then outside of Microsoft, as a friend of the company, and then as a licensee, as I'm back on my own properties. So I think what I've seen over the years is there's a bit of a cyclical nature. Right, they come in, and I remember we're in PC games, we're out of PC games, we're back in PC games. I think some of that is responsive to the market. Right, there was a belief that for a while that the PC games were going to go away, consoles were going to rule everything. I think we've seen that not pan out. I also think that they're starting to really embrace a larger kind of vision about games, not just about platforms. Right. I mean, when the original games group was designed as a way to promote Windows. Right. I mean, as everything in Microsoft is, it was like this was about promoting Windows, but it's really moved past that. And I think Phil is doing a great job of looking at a bigger agenda that's really more fan oriented than it is platform oriented. And I think that's very exciting.
Terrific. And of course, Harebrained Schemes, a prolific crowdfunder within the PC space, and you guys are also working on a board game, Golem Arcana, that's been out for a while. I want to get you talking about crowdfunding and Kickstarter in general. Do you feel like, how do you feel about the amount of skepticism from some users and some fans in this space right now, but also, do you see it being a very long-term opportunity for game developers?
Well, first off, I think skepticism is completely appropriate. This is it's the Wild West, and you have to be, really careful because you are, it's not just a pre-order, right? You are, helping people make the game itself. And, if you've been on the publishing side or followed the industry, a lot of games start that never finish, right? And that's what publishers are used to. They play a portfolio. They understand that if they fund 10 games, only 6 are going to ship, and of those 6, only 2 are going to be great, right? They understand that. But as an individual at home, when you're putting $50 into a game, you're not really thinking about it as a portfolio play, right? You're expecting that game to, to actually get to fruition and ship and be great. And so it does push the burden of that kind of due diligence back onto the back on the people who are considering helping these games get made, right? So I think skepticism is healthy and appropriate. Is it a long-term venue? Is it a long-term kind of way for games and other creative products to get made? I think so. I don't think so in its current form. I mean, it's like Web 1.0 to Web 2.0, right? I mean, things are going to keep evolving and changing. Based upon, kind of you go through the waves of initial enthusiasm and then kind of reality and then, second level of innovation and new enthusiasm. And I think we're going to see that kind of evolution for this. But I think the connection between creator and consumer being tighter is a good thing. I mean, we thrive on it, right? I mean, our Kickstarters, the funding is definitely helpful for a small company like us, but even as important as the funding is the connection to the players throughout the game's development, the ability to get feedback from players as we're working on things, and just even the emotional support of the players while we're developing it. Because, games take a lot out of you, and to have fans kind of send you emails or comment, reply to posts, as we put up updates, and even the ones who send pizzas at night and bagels in the morning. I mean, those things really bow up a team, and they help make it a better game, both from their input and their just emotional support.
That's a great point. I think it probably beats the hell out of developing a game for 3 years in total silence, and then you have to come out and then you get a blunt feedback perhaps, and it wasn't what you thought it would be. That's really interesting. So thanks for your perspective, Jordan. Really looking forward to BattleTech and also what's next for Shadowrun. Necropolis here, we're going to see in a few moments, but always great to talk with you, and good luck in what's next.
Well, thank you very much. Really appreciate your time and all your guys' support. Really, you've been wonderful.